but when we get to her. All right, it is 6:30. Quorum of members present. I will call this meeting to order. We'll start with the invitation. Now, Ms. Collinsworth, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of Jesus Christ. Lord, we just praise you, Father. We thank you for our blessings, Father. Thank you for this team and committee that comes together to help make the best decisions for our students and staff and our whole district, Father. We just ask you to watch over us and protect us and heal us from this virus, Lord, so that we can get back to our normal lives and get on with educating the students in our community, Father. We thank you for all your blessings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right. So now we will administer oath of office to the newly elected school trustees, place 6 and 7. Y'all will step out here.
I got my Zoom interview.
Only headshot.
No leg shot.
No, it has to be from the main staff.
Well, those look like it.
Yeah, you slide to the end.
How come y'all's whole family didn't come?
You can.
Roy he brought everybody in town he's related to.
I didn't bring anybody. On the board tonight.
So you will repeat after me where it says, you will say your name there. Do it all at the same time. Okay? I do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of
execute the duties of the office of
School Board Place 7, School Board Place 6
School Board Place 7
of the State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States of this state.
the Constitution and laws of the United States of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
There you go.
That's the old stereo thing got me all messed up. Yeah, I can hear him talking. I was like, wait, I'm saying the words too quick.
Thank you, guys.
Nick, we should
And,
practice that.
Giddy up. There's no artist got on here, and we've had a pretty good ride. Maybe it'll be a little bit smoother.
Just slow it down a little bit.
We'll see. All right. Now we need to elect board officers and Texas Association of School Board delegates. So we'll open for nominations for officers. Good. Roy?
I move that we elect Graham, school board president, Graham Wright.
Okay.
Second.
All right. What about vice president? We'll do no. Okay. Is that how we'll do them all at the same time?
Yes, you can do it.
Yeah. Okay. So need a nomination for vice president.
I nominate Artist Johnson.
Secretary, I nominate Carol.
Second.
You
Sure, that's.
good with that? You've done it. You did a good job this past year, and you've got it figured out. As many closed meetings as we've had, we finally got it figured out how to do the paperwork. So, okay, Tasbeeh delegates. what do we have a delegate and an alternate? So,
Nominate Roy as the delegate, aren't you already?
Yes, I am. Second.
okay.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Paul, how about alternate?
Get Paul some alternate,
All right.
please.
Okay, so we have nomination for president, vice president, secretary, Tasbeeh delegate, and alternate. Have those down? All right, so we vote, I guess.
Mhm.
So Graham Ray, president, Artis Johnson, vice president, Carol Kennedy, secretary, Roy Russell, Tasbeeh delegate, and Paul Lippy as the alternate Tasbeeh delegate. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, here we go. Let's see. So last time, we can worry about this later. Are you good with, I mean, I guess we're good with the same seating, or I guess the only thing that would change would be y'all two switch.
Really?
Does
You
anybody
can sit
care?
right by Grandma's.
I mean, Jeff was right here.
I
Okay,
don't know that it'll make too much difference.
I don't either. So, okay. Well, then, we'll do this. All right.
There you go, Nick. I'm talking. This is good.
Okay, superintendent report, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Brian Allen to his first meeting, and here we go.
Here we go. It's, I guess I've been here a little bit more than a week now, and it's been a wild and woolly week. We're trying to get our feet on the ground, get settled here in the office, get settled with the staff that I've been able to meet face to face, and try to get to know as many of them as I can, and then also try to get settled in at home, get all the boxes unpacked, and kind of get life moving in a normal direction there as well. So thrilled to be here. Glad to have the opportunity and ready to get to work. So I guess the first part of the superintendent report, student recognition. We have the campus administrators here to introduce our students of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, this month I would like to recognize Stormy Smith. Stormy is a first grader in Miss McCullough's class, and her teacher wrote a few words about her, and her mama is watching. So Stormy is a sweet young lady who overcomes any obstacle that stands in her way. She always gives her best at any assignment. She is everyone's friend and a great helper. I am very proud of her, and it was a privilege to have Stormy in my class this year. I can't wait to see what amazing things she is going to accomplish. So we're very proud of you, Stormy, and can't wait to see you in second grade.
North Elementary has 2 students of the month. In Ms. Moss's third grade class, where we want to celebrate Brianna Barrera Valdez. Brianna is a hardworking student with a playful attitude. Her sense of humor is very entertaining and surprises me sometimes. She cares about her teachers and classmates and can put a smile on anyone's face. Brianna genuinely upholds our campus values. She is always ready and eager for class. What I respect about Brianna is her thoughtfulness towards every classmate. She has a very big heart and thinks so highly of her peers. If someone needs help on classwork or is simply having a bad day, we can all count on Brianna to help lift our spirits. So congratulations, Brianna. And then second grade in Miss Love's class is Rylan Yanez, and Miss Love wrote this about Rylan. I am elated to introduce you to Rylan Yanez. She exhibits every quality of an exceptional buckaroo and has the true spirit of one too. She is a dedicated student both in the classroom and out. She is always prepared and organized and often helps those around her without being asked. Her classmates enjoy her sweet giggle and radiant personality. They know what a great friend she is, and most all of them shed quite a few tears when she was absent from an extended illness. Her work in the classroom is always 110%. She is extremely thorough and precise in her work. When a tough problem arises, she stays with it by asking questions and powering through to get the answer. She absolutely loves the challenge. Hats off to you, Rylan. You are a true buckaroo.
All right, our South Elementary Student of the Month is 6th grader Alyssa Stout. And Ms. Wilcox has some kind words to say about Alyssa. She said that Alyssa is a very kind, humble student who always looks to be better. Her work ethic and behavior are beyond expectations, and she is an absolute joy to work with. She is very inquisitive and looks beyond the big picture. She isn't afraid to create an atmosphere of higher learning, and she is a positive influence to her peers. It has been such a privilege to teach Alyssa, and I know she will accomplish so much in the future. She is a bright and shining star in our school district.
Okay, do I unmute her?
She can unmute.
She'll, all right.
Breckenridge
Junior high is Ms. Perkins. There you are.
Ms. Breckenridge Junior High would like to honor Andrew Cortez as Student of the Month. Mrs. Escalon says that Andrew is a joy to have in the classroom. She misses his sweet personality so much during this quarantine. Mrs. Parker says that from her encounters with Andrew, he seems to be such a nice and capable young man. While we were in school, he got along well with his peers and always seemed eager to do whatever he needed to do. Dr. Moore said Andrew is a kind young man. He works hard, smiles often, and goes above and beyond teacher expectations readily. Mrs. Burchett says Andrew is a great student and very deserving of this award. He is always responsible, showing up to class with his materials and ready to learn. During the home learning, he has stayed on top of his assignments and has excelled. He has such great potential and will go far in life. We're also proud of you, Andrew, and your choices to be responsible for your own happiness and success. You are 100% accountable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, presentations of service pins.
The campus principals will announce for their campus.
Okay.
Maintenance, transportation, and custodians. Brian is not here tonight, so Mr. Allen, do you want to present those at that time?
Yes.
And then we'll announce technology as well.
Okay. All right, so I guess we will start with East Elementary.
Okay. All right, I am presenting a 5-year pin to Shannon Dean, our counselor there at East Elementary. 5 years to Tammy McGrady, which is my Title I reading specialist. 15 years to Robin Connor, my receptionist in the office. And Christy Townsend, 20 years, kindergarten teacher.
At North Elementary, Prairie Freeman gets a 5-year pin. Sonia Salcedo, a 2nd grade teacher, gets a 10-year pin. And Lori Durham, a 3rd grade teacher, gets a 30-year pin.
South Elementary didn't have any this.
Okay, high school.
Okay, so at high school, we've got Jack Herford, who works in technology with 5 years. Kimberly Regal, who teaches technology at the high school, also 5 years. Monica Jones, who's special ed aide, gets 10 years. Kim Best, who teaches English, 15 years. Amanda Farmer, also English, in 15 years. Ken Dietrich, with PE, 20 years. Martha Brandon, Spanish, is 25 years. And Tommy McKenzie, our nurse, is 30 years.
Okay, junior high.
Okay, and from the junior high, we have Dr. Vince Moore, who has completed 15 years. And I just have to give a shout out to him and the support in our school working on our technology this year. Thanks, Dr. Moore.
Okay.
Special education, we have Tracy Gilman for 5 years. And Liz Tidwell, for 5 years also.
Okay, our maintenance, transportation, and custodians, we have Chuck Dooley with 10 years of service. Natalia Munoz with 15 years of service. And Brian Dietrich with 20 years of service to the district. And then for our administration office, we have Brittany Edgar with 5 years of service. And Lisa Wright with 25 years of service.
Lisa did ask me to express her appreciation for her position. She could not be here tonight. She had some stuff going on, but she did want to say thank you for all you do and all of your support in all things, especially during these times.
Yeah, hey, this is Dwayne Dove, the technology director. I wanted to say congratulations to Jack Herford for 5 years of service. He is one guy that you can really count on. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. All right, so tax collection report. We're about the same as last year, 0.5% or so off. It looks a little better than you think, so on track.
On track, looking good. Any questions over that?
Okay. Report of resignations. Armstrong, and then, let's see, and Miss Dietrich is here for quite a while.
Yep.
All right, staff appreciation. All right, Roy.
Just so y'all know, I'm always maintenance in that bucket.
You didn't put it, did you not put it?
I put it in there, that's all I
I'm
got.
sorry, Molly. No, I'm sorry. I was gonna just yell at you. Mae Johnson, the water store. If I'd have marked that out, Molly, this would be it, Molly. Callie Stinson, Mormon. I got them. And I've been looking at the budget.
I need a little more enthusiasm over that.
You stick that on us. Oh, Molly. My mother would be happy. Karen Wolf.
Yeah.
Karen Wolf. No.
Okay, Pit Stop Barbecue,
Come on, Molly.
Jim Cottle. I've got one for the Sonic here. Trace Humphreys.
Molly, I can look.
I'm trying. I'm looking for that M, you know.
You can look, come for
Last one's Canyon Road Bar and Grill.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Brown.
Good call.
All right, there's still hope. All right, Subway. Lori Robertson. Rochelle Perry Photography. Randy McCullough.
Rochelle Perry Photography. Deborah Gonzalez. One more for Rochelle Perry Photography, Scarlet Bliss.
Ken's Chicken and Fish, April Hughes, and MLR Graphics, Peggy Gabriel.
The artist.
Okay. This is yours.
You got another one?
Did you really?
That's all of them?
Did you drop? I really did. Molly, I was in the bucket. I was trying my hardest.
I'll be there in the last
Ricky
one.
did not put you on top like I asked her to. I wouldn't make that happen. The shirt shop is Letitia Martin. I can't believe that. I really
Congratulations.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I skipped the announcements.
Sorry.
Okay. Announcements from the superintendent.
Hey, yeah, I just got a couple of things. We put a couple of things in your packet. The RCI fixed asset inventory. Since we're going through the move of North Elementary and kind of reshuffling some things throughout the district, we thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and bring them back once we've made that move and to get a good inventory on what we've got on things. So that is the quote. We'll be looking to put that in the budget for next year. I don't think we can get that done before the end of the fiscal year, so we'll put that into the budget for next year. We haven't sent that back yet, so that's we hope to be able to do that, and it's going to be one of our priorities. But that will be on next year's budget.
It was a little over a year ago that we had to come out and scan the whole district. But with everything that's moving from north to east and south and everywhere else, we did think it would be best just to have them come and rescan instead of making everybody have to do that extra work on top.
Next thing in your packet is a little information about Board Book and what Board Book is, and you can read through that stuff there. Board Book is an electronic organizer for our board meetings and our documents. I've used it in the past, and I really like it. It allows for very quick posting and editing of your board agendas. If there's something that needs to go in there at the very last minute, it's real easy just to upload it into the electronic format rather than having to, put together a whole new paper packet. Our packet this time wasn't real big, but I know I kind of sat there and kind of timed how much time Brittany spent putting it together on Friday, and just to be able to save that time and to be working on something different, I think is well worth it. So we're going to look at trying to move forward with the Board Book. I know that Tasbeeh is coming out with a new version called Board Book Premier in August. So Board Book, as I know it, as I've worked in it, is kind of going away, and they're moving to a supposedly more robust, just a higher level of that. So again, you can kind of look through there and kind of see there's some different numbers, a case study, and then just some features that are a part of that. But certainly something that I know I had conversations with Mr. Jarrett as we were transitioning that he encouraged us to kind of move that direction.
Is it a program? And then
it's a web-based program you can get on your phone. You can get on any laptop or any device.
Okay, so it's not actually a tablet that we pass out.
No, not necessarily. Now I think districts have done that. Passed out tablets so that, again, kind of like we talked earlier about having a separate email address. Keeping this stuff off of your home computer and devices. Might be a good idea, so that's something we can definitely look into as we move in that direction.
So we'll be moving away from printouts then?
You could still
print one. It puts together a packet just like this, and gives you a table of contents and enumerates the pages and everything. So we could still do the printed version, but you know, if
Have you costed that out? Like the print, what our operational?
not
If we're looking at printed packets for the last year plus time.
Yep.
It's pretty heavy.
and I know Mr. Jarrett left me a stack of the last year's packets, and it's a good chunk of paper. And when you're doing that 8 times or 10 times, or how many do you make? Packets
I made
each month.
12 paper packets.
So
each
you know,
meeting.
12 times that can add up pretty quickly.
It
so-
also makes it to where you can easily search through that program and find any time that we would talk about COVID-19, you could search that through that program, and it would pull up everything you've done through it. Waivers.
Previous
everything like
meetings and everything.
Absolutely, all that's archived and your minutes are saved in there.
So the recommendation for a board meeting is we'd like to bring a device if we want to be able to look at it.
Well, you know, when we post it 72 hours in advance, all that information will be online for you to look at prior to. But then we could have a device for you at your station here, and just bring that up and have access to anything that you need, both for that meeting or any kind of historical data that you might need as well. So, it's a pretty neat little tool.
And it's based for you, I mean, we can get on it anytime.
Anytime.
I like having something where I can go back to it, say, Carol Truck, call me.
Right.
Is that 1250 based on, is it flat, or is that based on size of school district or anything?
That's a flat fee. Now, there will be an additional fee, a one-time setup fee, for us to get set up. So it'll be a little bit more in year one, but then after that, it's a set fee.
And this is the platinum?
No, this is just the basic. From my understanding, they weren't looking at having an entire cost for premium, since they're gonna force everybody into it, but that could change, I don't know.
I just wondered about the setup fee, if there's going to be another setup fee or not, but, okay.
So it's 1,200, 1,250 a year.
Yes, that's what they're telling us right now. You know, of course, that's always subject to change, but Tasbeeh's usually good. I mean, that's our organization. You know, it's the school board, so they usually take care of us pretty well. And on the same note as Tasbeeh, this is not in your bound packet, but I gave you this handout separately. We talked a little bit about this through my interview process, and that's a policy review session just for us to go back and look at our policy book to make sure that what the policy says and our practice here in the district matches. I know that, again, as we transition, Mr. Jarrett recommended this because he's come across a couple of policies that don't line up together. You know, one policy says one thing says another, and this will help us get more in line with both what our legal requirements are and just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Tasbeeh recommends doing one of these every 5 to 7 years and any time that there's a leadership change. So, you know, a new superintendent coming in, it's a prime time to do one of these and get it done. The pricing is there for you. I believe that's
how we
page
did last
4.
time. We used Tasbeeh?
We have not done this since I was on the board. Tim, he never had time to do it, and he was constantly going through and finding stuff that we needed to be doing, or, you know, as far as policy matching practice. I mean, he spent a lot of time trying to fix that, but this session has never been done.
Yes, the last
And so-
time it was done was November of 2001.
Right. So
it's been quite a while. Again, we'll it's a process. When I did this in the previous district, it took us about 8 months from the time we signed up for it to get it scheduled, to have them come out and do it, and then to finally present the findings back to the board. So we're going to try to get on this pretty quickly, just to get on their schedule. I know that because of the COVID situation, anything they had scheduled at the end of this semester has been pushed back because they haven't been able to travel. So getting on their schedule may prove to be somewhat difficult. We may still be talking about this time next year, but
Is that how all school boards usually do it, use Tasbeeh?
Anybody who uses, some of the bigger districts who have their own in-house counsel and they kind of keep their own policy book, but most of the small and mid-sized schools use the Tasbeeh service, and this is the most cost-effective way, because when you're looking at that policy book, there's two big binders that are about this thick piece, and for an attorney to go through there and look through all that, it's going to be much more costly than what Tasbeeh would do for us. So
This policy review session includes legal fees?
yes, so Tasbeeh has a legal department, and anything they do, they run through their legal to make sure that everything's jiving with the law and everything looks good. So we'll have a policy contact and a legal team working with us on this. So anything else? Questions on that?
Do we get any, continuing ed?
What's
Let's
that?
go through it, we get some things.
Do we?
What's in it for me?
Yeah.
Hey, so
Do we get any of that?
I don't think
Doesn't
so.
look like on that.
And really, from my experience, will be like a called board meeting for them to come and present their final report to the board. That's usually about an hour and a half. Most of the other work is done with the office and the administrators. So y'all will be kept in the loop on that, but it's not. It won't be like going through the superintendent search. You won't have to invest that much time into doing that. So we'll
So
take.
they'll probably come up with some discrepancies that we'll look at and make a decision on whether we want to change it
Yes,
or change our
yes.
practice.
So we'll have the recommendation that we'll present to the board, and there will be some key things that the policy consultant will point out, and but then yes, what we'll do is the board will then just adopt all the new policies all at the same time, kind of like a policy update. So.
Okay.
Next thing, Tasbeeh Summer Leadership Institute. Hey, at this point, they're still planning on having that. I keep thinking that they're going to change the format or go to some kind of online something. But hey, they're trucking right along. So that looks good for us to be able to go and get our hours. I think Brittany gave you a packet with the sessions.
We don't have a packet
Okay,
yet.
sorry. If you can take a look at that packet and kind of choose the sessions that you want. I don't know if there were any recommendations.
The only thing would be that the two new members go through
the new
the
board,
new
new
board
member.
deal. So you'll look through there and you'll see that, and it'll say recommended for new board deal. So is this all packets or just new?
That one's just yours, so here, before y'all leave, I will give y'all all a packet, and you'll need to make your primary choice selection and your secondary choice selection. They do have the new board orientation stuff that Graham was talking of. There are some things that changed in this legislative session that you have to have this year. Cybersecurity, child abuse, child sexual harassment, stuff of that nature. I know that will be offered at SLI.
The other one is that
1566.
understanding the testing results and all of that.
Yes, and
I think we have to have hours
1566,
for
I
that.
did get an email today. You can do that just with your group and do it in an online session, but SLI does have a session for it. Y'all will just need to make sure if y'all do decide to do it at SLI and get that, plus the 1566, if they'll let you, that y'all get it all together.
And on the 1566, that's the understanding the accountability system and how that works. Tasbeeh's offering it for free at the end of the session. So it's basically they start it, you have lunch, and then they end it. So it's right there around lunch on Saturday. So if that's an option, that's certainly something we can do and get that knocked out and not have to pay an additional fee. Region 14 is going to offer it, but they're going to charge us probably somewhere between 50 and 75 a person.
And another date of having.
Yeah, another date, another meeting.
But the SLI one, I believe they will be serving you lunch if you
Yes.
attend that session, so it's a free lunch.
It's a free lunch. So, that's certainly something to.
There is no free lunch.
Free lunch, really makes people feel like.
And no.
I like lunch.
I don't know about that one.
Hey, the cybersecurity training is something we're gonna all have to get. That's something that I think Dwayne can set us up on, and you can kind of do on your own if you choose to, or we can have a session where, you know, we come up here and do it as a group. Again, the decision to be made. And the child abuse training, I was on the Tasbeeh Online Learning Center the other day, and that's available right now, and they've made it available for free because of the COVID situation. They're not able to get out and do their spring workshops like they normally do. So that's available online. If you'd like to go ahead and get that knocked out before SLI, let me know, and I can help you get set up on that. Otherwise, I know they're offering it at least twice at SLI. So
Your hotels have been booked for SLI, so y'all don't have to worry about that. Mr. Allen will have the card, and all of y'all's information will be emailed to you. So your cybersecurity, Dwayne has a separate email login set up for you through BISD to do that cybersecurity. So if you want to do it before, let me know and I can get that to you.
And when do we make the decision on what we take from what we have
We'll
open?
do that before we leave tonight,
So we have to do it tonight.
hopefully. Because I need to get y'all registered, so I have to have your selection.
The problem is the longer we wait, those sessions will fill up, and you may or may not be able to get into the ones you want. Now, in my experience, you can pretty much get into anything you want to once you get there, but as far as the registration goes, if we can get them done, the quicker the better. So, last couple of things I've got, our summer hours here in the district, we're going to start those on June 1st, and we're hoping to get our support staff back working full time here ASAP. You know, we've got some things going on with the move and whatnot that we need some of those folks back working their full schedule. So we're working to get that resumed ASAP.
So June 1st, students?
No. That's just our normal summer hours. We work a little bit longer each day, but we don't work on Fridays. So the district offices, the campus offices will be Monday through Thursday. I believe that's 7:30 to 5. Is that correct?
So no information on student access?
At this point, students can't access any buildings other than to pick up belongings or to return school-owned items until further notice, unfortunately. So we're also looking at alternatives to for summer school offerings, and just in case we're not able to host those, you know, in person. Anything else? Questions?
Were you looking at a training possibly next summer you were going to mention? Or did you mention that?
We'll talk about that in budget workshop when we start that next month. All right, that's all I have for announcements.
Great. All right, highlights and learning. Do we have any of that this time?
Yes, our campus administrators, and I think Molly's going to be a part of this also. We wanted to kind of share with the board what we've been doing during this during the shutdown, and share some successes that we've had even through some struggles, and just kind of highlight what we've been doing. So I'll let Ms. Johnson start us off.
You know, I just am amazed that teachers came back from spring break thinking they were going to see their students, thinking they had lesson plans already and packets ready to go, and then we told them, hey, we're going to split this and you're going to do it in a whole new way. And amazingly, just like teachers do, they did it. And while it hasn't been perfect because it's not how we enjoy teaching, we enjoy teaching with actually little children. They kind of make us happy and seem more effective. But I'm really, really proud of all of our teachers and our administration team that figured out how to instruct through virtual learning and through packets, and continue to call kids, call on families. They're not just sending homework, but they've been calling and checking in We know which kids that are high at risk, which families are at risk, and they've been making some extra special calls and contacts with those people. So I am extremely proud and in awe of all the hard work that all of our staff has put together and to make the best of a bad situation. So that's the principals to each give a little report. We kind of want to keep it simple, but we want to talk about how many kids we've served, how many we're missing, you know, and how many we're still working on. School is not over until May the 21st, even though we're trying to finish up with those packets, those formal packets. We are going to continue through May 21st with phone calls, with activities. And just like those last 2 weeks of school that we would have if kids were coming to school, you know, we kind of have those end of the year parties, we kind of do those kind of things. So our last 2 weeks are really focused on some fun things to do, but still about learning. So let's start with East Elementary and have to give your report.
Well, and I have to give a big shout out to Shannon being my counselor. I was out on maternity leave when all this hit, and so I just want to tell her and tell you all how awesome she did planning all that. She really took it on and did a great job. So we are currently serving 288 total students, and we have been able to mail out packets or deliver packets to all 288 of those kids. Some of those are served as zero eligible kids that are in speech only, and those students are also being served by our speech therapist. We don't have any students who we're considering MIA or missing. We know we are in contact with every one of them, whether that be through Class Dojo or teacher phone calls. However, we do have 6 students that we cannot get work from. So, you know, we're contacting the parent and they'll say, I'll get that to you, I'll get that to you. We're having some trouble getting the work back, but only on 6 of those students, and those teachers are in contact with those kiddos. And we're excited about our next 2 weeks, and over the summer we've provided what we're calling a life skills bingo board, and so I sent that out today to all of our parents. And it's just a fun way to encourage kiddos to learn their address, learn their phone number. It has a place where they can choose to read every day that week. So we're really, really encouraging reading and you know, want to remind the parents that's really the best way to keep your kids where they are, is to have them read every single day. So we're really excited about that, and teachers are staying in contact with students, and so I think that's about all.
And at North, we serve a total of 182 students, and 182 packets have either been mailed out or delivered. So all of our students have received instruction packets. We have been in contact or know where all of our students are. So there are 0 MIA students for North. However, we too are waiting on 6 students to get some sort of work back from them. So, and teachers are working diligently trying to contact parents either through phone call, email, or Dojo, trying to reach out and get those packets back. And then for our last 2 weeks of instruction, we too have put out a 2-week life skills menu, one for this week and one for next week, and it's 12 activities, and they can choose 4 for the week. And it ranges anything from, like Barbara said, to writing a letter to a friend, like helping your parent sort laundry and measure out detergents. I mean, there's just a lot of little, so if you have any at North or South, because South is doing the same thing, make sure they're doing this. Also washing dishes, but we have just a few little fun activities, but also academic activities that they're being able to participate in at North as well.
All right, now we have 322, and we have at least mailed or attempted delivery or left them on the porch of everybody. I counted 3 MIA, but when we were talking at dinner, one of those is a student who moved in, and then like the next week we couldn't find her, and apparently we think now's moved back to Florida. So, and then another one's a student, a pretty new student as well that we haven't been able to locate, and so, and then the other one we know him, but we're not being able to make contact with. So we'll continue. We've done several home visits to track down some kids and knock on doors and those kind of things. So we'll keep doing that. And we did our first pickup today, and then we have the rest are coming through tomorrow to turn in work and Chromebooks. I hope that some of these 14 that haven't turned anything in will show up tomorrow to drop off
things they have done that maybe we didn't know about, so. And then, like Craig, we kind of made a 2 through 6 menu that would kind of incorporate all those activities, so we had those in the packets, for their final pickup, so everybody got one of those as well, and it's just practicing one of those things they need to know for that.
Okay. Junior high, Ms. Parkinson, there she is.
Okay, yes. We have a total of 236 students. All 236 have been served, all with Chromebooks except for 3 that we gathered textbooks and workbooks and assignments and delivered those to those students. We have no students that are missing, but we do have 1 student who has not turned in any assignments. These last few weeks, we are wrapping up with final exams so that we can have some data to work with at the beginning of next year. Complete missing assignments. We have also started collecting Chromebooks today. We had 52 kiddos bring their Chromebooks back today. We have packets available for them, or teachers are still assigning some life skill activities for these last few weeks.
Okay. High school.
Okay, so we have about 412 students. I think we've actually grown since that number was reported. I think we're like 415, 416 now, so that's good. It's always a good thing. We don't have any missing in action. We've been in contact with every student on campus at least once from somebody. Number of students have not turned in work. It really depends on the class. You have some that are doing well in 7 classes and the one they're not. So it depends on the class, but if I had to put a number on it, I'd say consistently there's about 3, maybe 4 of our kids that on a regular basis are not really engaging consistently across the board, which is still a pretty good sign. And then our plans over the next 2 weeks, we've had credit committee meetings to determine who is on track to gain credit, who's at risk of losing credit. So students that are at risk of losing credit, we're going to use the next 2 weeks to try to show that they've mastered the teach for the school year. And then for those that have already shown the mastery, we'll continue instruction for them in some form or fashion.
And I just want to say, educators are, I mean, they're hard workers just by nature. But what I've witnessed through this COVID situation and through the shutdown is that, our folks are working even harder now than what they normally do. So I want to say thank you to our administrators for putting in the work to serve our kids. Thank you to the teachers and the instructional staff that may be out in the virtual world there. I've seen some great things in my short time here, and I'm really excited about what the future holds, because if we're willing to work this hard and make these kind of adjustments just on the fly, imagine what we can do when we sit down and actually get a plan put together to move forward. So thank you all. Appreciate the hard work, and looking forward to working with each of you.
Thank you all. Okay, number 8. I'm assuming y'all were finished. Okay. Comments from the public. All persons who address this board at this time must complete a registration form and turn in to the board secretary before the meeting begins. We had no people to make comments, so that moves us to consent agenda. Item 9. 9A, receive and consider minutes from previous board meetings. 9B, consider approval of April 30, 2020 financial reports. 9C, consider budget amendments. 9D, consider instructional materials allotment and TEACS certification for 2020-2021. So, all that is in your packet. Kind of standard stuff.
I recommend that the board approves the minutes as presented.
What are the consent agenda does them all at one?
Oh, I thought you said, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're all right.
Move that we approve consent agenda items 9A through 9D as presented.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 9A, B, C, and D. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, regular agenda item 10, discussion item, graduation. So we've had some changes of how we're going to handle graduation, so I'll turn that over to the principal. So,
Well, and before Dr. Paul gets started, I just want to say, trying to plan for anything further than about 2 days out during this whole ordeal has been very difficult. As soon as we think we get a plan together, TEA comes out with some guidance that makes us, at the very least, tweak some things, if not completely just change things. So trying to come up with a plan for an event that's 3 or 4 weeks away has proven to be more difficult than what I even realized it might be. I did provide you with just a packet of guidance that we've gotten both from TEA and our attorneys as far as our graduation ceremony and what can and cannot happen at our school facilities as far as end of the year festivities, which includes graduation, includes any kind of promotion ceremonies at your lower grade levels. The guidance the latest guidance came out on May 5th, last Tuesday, from TEA and the governor's office, and you can see on the front page of the packet I gave you, there's some guidance there, and it says an outdoor ceremony can take place in any Texas county on or after June 1st. 2 days later, that changed. So you can see that the guidance comes out, and then they turn around and change things on you, which is very frustrating. But I'll let Dr. Paul kind of talk about the plan that we have in place, and then anything we need to discuss or any questions that you may have, we'll do our best to answer.
Okay, so start with, I was pretty proud of the fact that I think at the time that our original plan came out, we were one of the few districts that were, I think, bold enough to attempt to have an outdoor graduation. There were many that it wasn't even an option at the time, and I knew that with our opening in Stevens County and how well Judge Roach had handled that situation and limit. Of course, we only had, in fact, one case, and so to me, it looked like that we were going to. I could predict. I thought that we were going to be able to be in good shape to have it on the day that we had originally planned, and then with some limitations on tickets, and then of course that plan, of course, pending TEA's guidance, which they gave not long after we came out with ours. And so we made the decision to move. We did a student survey, and students were willing to actually move it back if they thought it would open up. Because I think the first restriction we put on there was 4 tickets per student. I had some parent concerns about that, and so let's just wait and see what happens to TEA. It was a student survey. I listened to TEA's guidance. TEA said after June 1, it's good to go. So we went ahead and made the decision to move it to June 6th, which was Saturday. The reason we picked Saturday over Friday, a lot of people are trying to get back to work right now. Didn't want to take a day of work from them if we didn't have to. Of course, we're also going to be outside, which TEA said that was the only way you're going to do it if you did it in person. And indoor graduation is not an option. And so we were actually looking at sending out a notice this week for June 6th graduation in the morning due to the temperatures. Didn't want surf to get too hot before that. And then giving the students 10 tickets, and then actually having 200 open to at-large people from the community. And so that's about 1,200, which when we looked the other day, we originally planned for like 400. When I looked at 1,200, it's pretty close. You're able to get, the TEA said you got to have it in groups of 5, so not all 10 can sit together. It's got to be 5. So everybody will get 10 tickets, but it'll be 5, and then a blank row, and then another 5 here. So we have, I think, 1,200 is probably about the best we can do and maintain our 6-foot spacing as we're still required, right now. And, I think if we go any further than that, there's always a possibility that it could be more open. There's always a possibility that it won't. And the guidance we got from DEA is that I don't see it getting any less strict between now and the end of June. I guess is what I'm trying to say in terms of the outdoor ceremony.
And part
outdoor ceremony is like another.
Part of the confusion, and I was even confused on this for a long time. I really thought that they were going to base our guidelines on what we could do as far as like retail shops. You know, if you could have 50% capacity, you know, I was had in my mind like we could, you know, if that stadium's supposed to hold 6,000 people, we could have 3,000 and be fine. They're not holding us. They're holding us to a different standard. They're not allowing that. So we're not based on capacity. We're kind of having to go by a different set of rules, which is frustrating. But that's the world we live in when we're working with the TEA and the state government. Sometimes the public school system is held to a different set of rules and a different standard. So I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to be sure and get that.
No, that's fine. The only restrictions TEA has really put forth is that no indoor, and of course it can't be more than groups of 5. And so then you got to look at your group of 5, try to spread that group of 5 from 6 feet from the next group of 5, and then have people to monitor that as well. Which we're planning on using teachers to monitor that. We need to talk to the sheriff and police about being here just to kind of on hand to help out. Maybe at the gate, and then just to kind of help us monitor, make sure that we're complying with all laws. Because that's one of the things when we submit it to the lawyers, that you need to make sure that whatever you're complying with, it has to be in compliance with state guidelines, whatever local guidelines you have in place, and then TEA even has some of their own. So it's been sticky getting it all stuck together, but I think we have a good plan. I think we probably have the best plan we can get.
We're trying to provide some sort of live stream online option for those who don't feel comfortable about coming out or may not be able to make the trip or whatnot. So working through the logistics of that as well.
So on here it says like something about gloves, and so are these students going to have gloves to get their diploma?
So if you'll look at TEA is recommending as many safety and health guidelines as you're willing to put into place. So we haven't made a final decision about whether students will wear gloves or masks. I think it's smart for us to hand out masks and gloves and highly recommend it, but not necessarily require it. But in terms of like handing out diplomas, it'll probably be more of the diplomas on the table. They'll come by, pick it up, and go on.
Are you gonna have us up there as well? Like
I think we make it as close to what we normally do as possible, and just eliminate some of the things that we feel like or kind of cross that barrier of safety or health.
We're shaking hands with everybody.
Correct. That's probably going to be a no-no. And one of the things that we're going to have to plan for.
Carol, you can.
Well then, so in years past, if a student that knew the board member, of course we've got 2 of ours that are graduating, they'd request, another board member to hand them their diploma, so that board member be able to just go set down in front of them.
Right.
And if it's our own kid, can we hug them?
Not the way they can't, man.
You don't have to dress up.
I think one of the things, though, that we've talked about, and I've looked at some other plans now that everybody's putting out an outdoor plan. A lot of people are talking about the biggest issue is not really getting everybody in and getting settled, it's the after party. That's going to be the management nightmare, because it's not going to be big emotional deal. It's gonna be this row go, this row go, this row go, and then everybody go to the house and do whatever you need to do. That's gonna be, I think, the sticky part.
So on the mask and the rubber gloves, and, you know, can we make it the kid's choice or talk to Judge Roach about not making them wear a mask at their graduation?
I think to me, right now, is where I sit, unless I get some other guidance, I think we have them available and we make it an option.
Right.
If you feel like it's something you need to do it.
Right, oh, that's right. And then the other thing is the only concern I have, and the only concern that I mean, because we do have a Facebook page
Sure.
for our class of 2020, where parents are asking lots of questions.
Right.
And so when it's been put out there that it's at 8:30 in the morning, that's a really difficult time. So, you know, I've seen where other communities are doing 8 at night. So, I mean, I know your thoughts on this is the heat, but it's 8:30 in the morning. I mean,
Right.
you know, if you have anybody coming from out of town, it's a really hard time to do anything. It's 8:30 in the morning.
Well, and one of the reasons we were looking at the morning because of the turf is, it'll be still kind of fresh from the overnight cool. At 8 o'clock at night, the turf has been baking, especially with that black dirt or rubber pellets that are in there. It's been baking all day. It takes longer than 8 o'clock to really cool that down. I think, because at 8 o'clock on June 6th, it's still pretty much daylight, and that turf has been baking since about 8:30 in the morning. So I do have, although I understand the concerns about the time, I also have concerns about, we're also having to do an award ceremony with this, because we haven't had an award ceremony. We're trying to mix that in with this. Because that was kind of the other thing the TA said was, look, you need to do one in-person thing and go. You can't do a practice. So they're kind of looking at, you know, limiting this as much as possible. So if we're going to do an award ceremony and a graduation, a normal graduation is about an hour. Once you get everybody in and get them going through, you add an award ceremony in there, you're looking at probably at least another hour.
And that's fine.
Sure.
I mean, we can't be picky,
Sure.
you know. But is there a thought about maybe doing a virtual award ceremony and then just doing the graduation ceremony? Would that make it not at 8:30 in the morning?
You know, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I know, it seems to me like an award, you want to give it in person. I think as much as we can do in person, I think it's the better, because we are giving them a Buckaroo award.
And then I didn't see in here where it said what our attorney said about the facilities, like say project graduation.
I think it's the very last, on the very back.
Oh, sorry. I know.
So essentially, until further guidance comes out from the governor, it's not allowed. And again, frustrating
Well,
for
we can
sure.
just move it.
Absolutely, right.
Okay, so we don't have to use the facilities, but it is nice to know, so we can make those plans and
Right.
start
Go ahead and
moving.
get that ball rolling.
Absolutely.
After they get the diploma, they will sit back down?
Correct.
Right, your instructions on what to do at the end? And
So what we're going to do is probably make a practice video and shoot it out probably a week before, as much as we can, try to show how it goes, since we can't do a practice. Normally we would do a practice.
And if they decide to hug each other and get together and selfies and all that stuff, is that on you? Are you in trouble?
Pretty much my responsibility to make sure they don't do that.
Okay. Thank you.
You shut your eyes.
I can remember graduating.
Shut your eyes.
Wish I could.
Maybe fast, hard money. I'll cover mine.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's gonna follow them, very far, but, you know, we need to use some common sense and try to be as safe as we can at the same time. Like I say, this is a difficult situation. It's horrible for the kiddos. I mean, it makes me sick. I mean, I've got one, you know, graduating, as well, you know, not from Breckenridge, but, we're kind of going through the same kind of pains that our parents and our students here So, I mean, I get it. But again, we've got to follow the guidance that's out there and be as safe as possible, but then also use some common sense too, and let people make some decisions for themselves on how to keep them as safe as possible. So.
I was caught going down the wrong way in an aisle in the I turned around and went back the other way. Real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going the wrong way.
Yes, sir.
Trouble, man.
Go to the arrows. Find the arrows.
Any other questions? Okay. Item 11, consider employment of administrative personnel. So turn to number 11 there, and in there, Mrs. Gibson is listed, and since she is my sister-in-law, we need to pull her out and vote on her separately without me voting. So your eyes are getting kind of big over there.
You won't be able to walk.
No. No, it's not, no, so, anyways, so, we're gonna do hers, then we'll do the other three in a separate motion. So, Laura's is up, so, I guess you can.
Yeah, I didn't know if what I provided was enough information. Do we need to, we can go into closed session if we need to, if anybody has any questions or anything on those recommendations there.
Since it's you hadn't done your, continuing, or whatever, the open meetings act.
It's good.
So,
It
okay,
is good enough.
okay, so since it's employment, so since it's employment, if there's a question, then we have to talk about it in closed session. So, if anybody's good, then Laura's is up.
So the recommendation from the committee would be to move Laura Gibson from the director of learning spot at the secondary level to the high school assistant principal spot.
I move that we approve the administrative transfer of Laura Gibson from secondary from secondary director of learning to BHS assistant principal. Sorry.
Second. I have a motion and a second to move Laura Gibson from secondary director of learning to BHS assistant principal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And one abstain. Okay. Congratulations, Laura. Good luck, Mr. Paul, Dr. Paul.
As long as I keep counting the people around me, I'll be all right.
Okay. All right, so next we have Corey Bowles from elementary director of learning to secondary director of learning. Let's see, contract, Monica Pierce to serve as assistant principal at junior high, and Marley Shepard to serve as elementary director of learning. So,
I move that we approve the recommendations from the administrative hiring committee
as presented.
as presented.
There you go. Second. A motion and a second to approve the employment of administrative personnel for the 2020-2021 school year as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All good. Motion passes. So, Artis on Laura's, I will need you to sign that contract.
Okay.
We'll do that after meeting, please. All right. Item 11, is the board vote going to be easier to go from place to place?
And just click a button, it goes to the next one.
I'm pretty slow at this. Good grief. Okay. Executive session to discuss personnel. Nothing. All right, guys.
Y'all didn't have
This
any
might be the
questions?
shortest one ever. All right.
I can't promise all of them will be that way.
Well, we're not used to this, so we don't even have we're adjourned. Meeting adjourned. All right.
Do not leave.
How do we shut this off?
How do we go,
Oh, yeah.
End meeting for